Hey, so this video is still staying with Tennyson's Charge of the Light Brigade, but now we're going to take what we got from that last one, which was looking at the text, pulling out evidence, and developing the representation. So we were looking at, through these quotes, what representation is that showing me? So if you haven't quite done that step, go back, watch that video, and get yourself together for that, and then come back to here. So moving forward on this one, we're looking at now how. So how is our process word? How do we get to the shops? How do you make a cake? They're all processes that you need to explain and show people how you get from one point to the other. So for us, we're going to show people how we go from the lyrics, the verses in the text, through to that message that poet is putting forth about war. How are they putting across a portrayal, a representation of war? So we sum up from the last video. These were the 4 pieces of evidence that we came up with and the language features associated with them. And using this, the representation that we constructed was the poem represents war as a glorious way to die for a soldier in one's country. So now what I need to do as I move towards the process is I need to pick out what is the best evidence for this. So when I read this, really, this is the key part of it. This is a key phrase in my representation that I really need evidence to prove, that it's a glorious way. I need things to prove that. When I look at this, it talks about duty. So for me, I can link that in. War, it's a soldier's duty. So the word soldier is in there, but it's not as strong for me when I want to be proving this phrase. This one has the word glory in it, so that is going to be a great example. This one again has the word hero in it, which then links heroes and glories are quite interchangeable. And this one again is your honor and your nobility. So you could link that in with one's country. For me though, the ones I feel most confident in are these 2. So right now I've halved the amount of work I have to do because now I can really focus in on using these 2 examples to prove that phrase. So the next thing that we need to do is to start unpacking what's in there. So the first one I'm going to look at is my emotive and evocative language. So this term brings in the term of hero, and hero is an evocative term. So an evocative is where it has both emotive and evaluative connotation. So there is an emotion attached when someone calls you a hero, and there's also a judgment that you're making when you call someone a hero. And it links in with the emotion of glory and to be glorious. So that's on the other point as well. To be a hero is to have glory. And then also it represents, or bring in the soldiers here as those who are heroic in their actions. So they've gone to war, that's an action. And it shows that war is a glorious way to be a hero, even if it's to die as one. So their last act is a heroic one in battle, where they've died for their country. So they get the glory attached with being a hero. My next piece of evidence is the rhetorical question. Now, a rhetorical question is one that does not need an answer, and this connects with this as their glory will never fade due to that heroism. Now, it's in this use here that I'm creating cohesion in my ideas, because you would have seen in the last one, we spoke about the idea of being a hero. So now I'm linking in this idea that it is through this rhetorical question where we don't answer it because the answer is never. It's infinite. So, and that's the thing. It shows, again, that to die for one's country sees your last act as a glorious and heroic one, where you aren't going to fade because you've done a heroic act for your country. So now if we put all that together, I have all of these notes here that I can put together into a 80 to 120 word paragraph. I've got my representation to start. I've got my 2 pieces of evidence. I've got my key language, and I've got my explanation. So next, all we need to do is then put the paragraph together. Okay, thanks.